something to me, but today is the birthday of the New Orleans Saints. Happy 57th, November 1st, 1966. This is Pastor Rock.
Yo, could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey, yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian.
Yeah.
Posting like Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
flying to see the pilot.
Yeah.
Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing jet skis. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock.
Woo.
Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo, partner, pass the rock, for real.
Always a good rhyme, something that rhymes with Zeman, but Pass the Rock actually
Whoa.
rhymes with Barack. So
Yeah. Missed
I don't
opportunity.
know why we don't
there.
use that. But
Yeah.
all right. Sorry I missed Monday, guys. Had to go see Steph kill the Pelicans. But I'm back and it's fantasy. And what rhymes with Zeman is he makes the whole team man or something like that. I forget how the rhyme goes. All right.
Yeah.
Starting with you, Zach. Thoughts on the James Harden trade?
Yeah, so I mean, as the resident Sixers fan here, of course, this affected me personally. Well, not me personally, but the team that I cheer for personally. I think the biggest thing with this trade is that James Harden was an asset that wasn't doing anything for the Sixers. And with the return that they got, I'm actually very impressed. The salaries exactly match what the Clippers had to give up, so it makes sense why they give up the players that they did. And then getting 2 first-round picks to me is the biggest part of this deal. To get all those players, it's like, all right, cool. They're role players. They're going to do whatever for the Sixers, or some might even be included in another trade or whatever later down the line. But those 2 future first-round picks for someone who wasn't playing for the Sixers, I'm pretty impressed with what the Sixers overall got in return. Maybe not the best case scenario, but it's definitely up there. So I'd say I'm impressed.
You have to be impressed because there was only one team vying for that trade, and that was the Clippers.
Yeah.
I think it's a disaster for the Clippers. Jack, just a quick follow-up, since you're an LA guy.
Yeah, I mean,
What are they thinking? Like, what? I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, I think what they're thinking is you saw last season James Harden, for the first time in his entire career, sort of adapted to being the second option, being more passive. I think he led the NBA in assists, which is something that's very abnormal for him. So I think the Clippers saw that and they're like, well, if we get that James Harden, a guy that's going to give us 21 points a game and 10 assists, that could be a valuable piece, especially if Paul George and Kawhi are going to stay on the floor with James Harden. That could work out if he's the distributor. But I also think that I don't know why. I guess that's the only Sixers, but like absolutely no leverage.
Yeah.
And somehow they still walk. And then it was just really impressive that they ended up getting the package that they did. So the Sixers did well. The Clippers remains to be seen.
Yeah, the Clippers are they're gonna be a bigger explosion into nothingness than the Mavericks, and I think the Mavericks are waiting for that too. But I think it's terrible for them. I don't think they were thinking at all, except for maybe that's what Kawhi wanted or what Paul George wanted, or I don't think Russell Westbrook wanted it. But there's just too many people that need the ball. I think it's terrible. Jesse, thoughts on the Chase Young trade? A bigger trade, in my opinion.
It's just ridiculous. I don't know why every time I see a trade alert from Adam Schefter, it's either the Eagles or the Niners. It's like it's getting old at this point. I have no words. Somebody has to check on Jason Kelce on how he's feeling, because now there's yet another top guy there. I mean, I know he's had a lot of years in the league so far, honestly, and not done as much as you'd hope for a second overall pick, and that's mostly due to injury. But I mean, even if he is injured, the Niners defense is stacked as is. So it's kind of just the cherry on top at this point. I don't actually think he's super, super impactful for them. I think that someone described it as a Jadeveon Clowney situation where, he's that super high draft pick. And he could be really talented, but the Niners defense is already like the hardest to run the ball against in the league. So I don't think he really, really elevates them by that much. But I mean, it's definitely a plus.
Go ahead.
I mean, I already do think Chase Young is a super talented player, and he has produced when he's been on the field. I just think that it kind of reminds me of the Von Miller trade at the deadline for the Rams a few years ago. When they were in Super Bowl contention, they bought a big name pass rusher at the deadline, and that sort of pushed them over the top with what was already a really good defense. This sort of feels like that, where the Niners are already a good team. They're in a little bit of a skid right now, but they're still a really good roster. They add in that extra piece, and that should push them over the top. And I think in the long run, this is going to really help their pass rush.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing with this deal is that compared to the Von Miller trade, Von Miller was already like a little bit past his prime by the time he joined the Rams. Chase Young is still very young. He still has his best years ahead of him. So for the long term, it's an absolute steal. Your only worry is the injury history, and if it continues, then it's like, okay, well, that's why they only give up a third and not like anything. What was it, a second? I don't know. It's no. Montez Sweat went for a second. Chase Young went for a third. If Chase Young didn't have his injury history, he would have gone for a second, is what I'm trying to say. So it remains to be seen how much Chase Young will be on the field, but if they even get like half of his production that he's had in Washington, I think it's a slam dunk deal anyways.
All right, let's get to it. It's fantasy. It's week 9, big week. Everybody's chasing that playoffs. We're more than halfway through the regular season as far as fantasy goes. So I'm going to go to a guy that was top 12, 13-ish in wide receivers before the season, Chris Olave, who his last couple of games, 1 catch for 4 yards, 2 for 12, 1 touchdown, 7 for 96, 7 for 57, and 5 for 46. Pretty lame, especially since the Saints offense has taken off a little bit. So are you starting Chris Olave over, starting with you, Jesse, Nico Collins this week?
This week, I'd actually start Nico Collins. I think he has more of an upside. I mean, we've seen Nico Collins go for 120, 140 yards, multiple touchdown games. Haven't really seen that from Chris Olave. And the Texans, who do the Texans face this week?
The Bucks.
The Texans face the Bucks this week. And not to mention Robert Woods is also out. Not that he's a huge factor, but I mean, that just leaves more targets on the field for Nico Collins and Tank Dell. So I would definitely start Nico Collins over Chris Olave because Chris Olave has single-handedly lost me at least 3 weeks in fantasy. So he can ride the bench for now. I'm going to say no for probably a lot of these guys, or yes.
All right. It's interesting. Before you go, I mean, he's still a top 12-ish ranked guy every week on Fantasy Pros. It kind of shocks me. He did take a touchdown pass off the face last week against the Colts. They're trying to get him open, but I'm going to give you a different one, Jack. Are you starting Chris Olave over Zay Flowers against the Seahawks?
I love me some Zay Flowers, but he doesn't have the same explosiveness that Olave does. I would say, well, I think he does as a player. We just haven't seen it in fantasy this year. He hasn't had the big blow-up game. He's been pretty consistent, getting between like 11 and 17, which is like a pretty good range. But I think just for the major upside of Chris Olave, I think I would roll with Olave for now.
All right, Zach.
Zay Flowers. I mean, Zay Flowers has a pretty interesting matchup overall this week with the Seahawks. I mean, they definitely have a bit of a tougher defense, so I think you could go either way and feel pretty confident because I do like Zay Flowers. I think he has a lot of upside, but I'm going to lean Chris Olave in this comparison just because I think that Chicago defense is still absolutely terrible.
All right, starting with Jesse, the resurgence of DeAndre Hopkins.
I would still start Chris Olave over DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins had a great week last week, but I mean, outside of that, he has not. He's also lost a lot of people a lot of weeks, putting up 0-1 points. So yeah, it was nice to see that. But these teams are actually facing early, right? Are they facing each other this week? Oh no, they're not.
It's Steelers.
Titans.
Tonight football.
No, I would not go DeAndre Hopkins against the Steelers on Thursday. Nah, I would go Chris Olave.
Yeah, I mean, I am intrigued by DeAndre Hopkins with Will Levis in there. I think that connection looked really good in game one, and I think a rookie quarterback is going to rely heavily on a veteran target like that. So I am intrigued by Hopkins going forward, but I think I need to see at least probably one more time. I need to see Hopkins put up another big performance before I can be confident in starting him in my leagues again. So for now, I'll say Olave.
I don't think I need to see any more. The fact that either of these receivers have any kind of upside right now is huge to me. And I think that Will Levis and that D-Hop connection, that's a game changer to me. And I think D-Hop is very much due for big weeks ahead of him. I'm definitely starting D-Hop over Chris Olave.
All right. What about DJ Moore against the Saints?
Ooh, this depends on if Justin Fields is playing, because I do not trust Tyson Bagent to make him a producing fantasy player. If Justin Fields is in, I would lean DJ Moore. If Justin Fields is out, I would lean Chris Olave.
I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I think both these guys are pretty inconsistent in fantasy, but you're talking DJ Moore on the Bears versus the Saints, or Chris Olave on the Saints versus the Bears.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to take the matchup, so it'll be Olave for me.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like DJ Moore is just, even though he's been inconsistent, at least he's actually produced at times. Meanwhile, Chris Olave has not yet had any week-winning performances. His highest scoring week was week 1, at least in PPR, with 19.2 points. I think DJ Moore's eclipsed that now 3 times so far this season. So just for the upside alone, I'm going to ride DJ Moore.
All right. Jacoby Myers against the Giants. Quick note, Giants defense been playing some ball lately.
I would go Chris Olave for sure, especially with how poor the quarterback situation is in Las Vegas. Chris Olave, he has not been great, but he is getting a ton of targets, at least. I mean, he had 15 targets the week before last week, and he's had over 9 targets in 6 out of the 8 games they've played this year. So he's getting the volume, and this is Chris Olave, a guy who was drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round over Jacoby Myers. Come on, it's Chris Olave.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to say Jacoby Myers because he's been really good, but them firing Josh McDaniels, firing Dave Ziegler, benching Jimmy Garoppolo, there's a lot of negative stuff going on in Vegas right now. So I'm just not going to touch any of those guys with a 10-foot pole until I see what this whole new look situation is going to be.
Yeah, this is
Olave.
Yeah. No, this is easily Olave, especially with how the Giants defense has been playing. The Raiders just completely overhauled their front office. They got rid of their head coach. It's about time. I'm surprised this wasn't done sooner, honestly. But yeah, like Jack said, I don't want to touch the Raiders until we know what's going on there.
Okay, here's a guy that was drafted pretty much back-to-back with Olave, one way or the other. T. Higgins playing Buffalo this week.
Ooh, I think I would still lean Chris Olave because T. Higgins, they're actually ranked right next to each other in projections for this week. They're both around 14. T. Higgins has only gone over 10 points once in half PPR, twice in PPR, but it was 11. And T. Higgins has been surprisingly one of the few guys that have been even more disappointing than Chris Olave this year. So yeah. I'd have to lean Olave because at the end of the day, Chris Olave is the number 1 on the Saints, and T. Higgins has Jamar Chase in front of him. So I'm going Chris Olave.
Yeah, I was about to say, if there's anyone that's been more disappointing in fantasy this year than Chris Olave, it's T. Higgins. So it's got to be Olave for me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, T. Higgins has just not produced whatsoever this season. It's going to be Olave.
All right, Deontay Johnson Thursday night against the Titans.
I would actually gladly take Deontay Johnson in this matchup. He's a PPR merchant. If you're in full PPR, definitely start Deontay Johnson. They love to pepper him with little short targets, and eventually he gets down the field, and hopefully he can actually catch the ball when a deep ball is thrown to him. But I would say Deontay Johnson has a safer floor, I want to say. Even though he's missed a lot of time, he comes back and is immediately throwing 10, 12 targets. So he's got the volume. I would start Deontay.
Yeah,
let's really quickly, let's make PPR merchant explode. Like whatever we have to do, let's start tweeting it. Let's make it a thing. Jack.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I've been loving the way that Deontay's been playing since he came back. Obviously, ridiculously high target share, PPR merchant. I think, yeah, I think I'd go Deontay. You're right. Much higher floor. He's a much safer option.
Yeah, I do like Deontay Johnson. The matchup, I really like it. I don't like the Titans defense. They are not doing that well. Also, losing a guy like Kevin Byard means that the deep ball threat, definitely a higher threat of deep passes. Deontay Johnson has been a very solid receiver when healthy. So give me Deontay Johnson.
All right. What about Puka Nacua against the Packers?
Give me some Puka. Absolutely, fire me up. This guy can't be benched unless he's injured. He had some knee swelling on Monday that they were taking it easy in practice, but this is Puka Nacua, man. And as long as Matt Stafford is good to go, you cannot put this guy on your bench for almost anybody in the league. So these guys are also ranked right next to each other and projected. Chris Olave is actually projected half more of a point, but I would definitely go Puka Nacua, even though he's the number 2 on his team. He actually outperformed Cooper Kupp last week. Both of them had bad games, but I think I got to go with Puka here, especially if Matt Stafford's healthy. If Stafford sits or is out, you go Olave.
Yeah, I would say a similar thing with the contingency that Stafford is out. Like, if Stafford is out, you're not touching Puka this week. But if he's in there, I mean, Puka's been unbelievable this season. He's only had one bad game in comparison to Kupp this entire season. So I think you still have to ride with him. And he's going to do pretty well for you. You can't bench that guy.
I feel like if Stafford's out, the offense will become simplified for whatever quarterback takes over, and that could lead to a lot of easy PPR points. I still think Puka, regardless of who's that quarterback, is the best option here. He has been absolutely great this season. He, of course, and even with Cooper Kupp coming back, he's still been very productive. He's still shown that he can be a legitimate wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, whatever you have him as. He fills that role easily, and I can't say that about Chris Olave, healthy quarterback or not. So give me Puka easily.
Quotes we never would have thought of before the season. It's Puka Nacua, man. Come on.
Yeah, just for context, it's Brett Ripien is the quarterback.
Yeah.
I honestly think I would still take Puka with Brett Ripien over Chris Olave this week.
I don't think
Brett Ripien's dad was the Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 26. Come on.
No one in their right mind is touching anything to do with Brett Ripien this week.
I'm all right. Brett Ripien.
Garrett Wilson against the Chargers.
Hmm?
Garrett Wilson against the Chargers.
Ooh, that's a good one. Garrett Wilson has also been obviously disappointing, but not really of his own fault. It's just a quarterback situation that's going on there. Surprisingly, though, has actually been decently consistent in PPR. I mean, he has 25 targets over his last 2 games and has steady got 14, 15, 16, 17 fantasy points in a lot of the weeks. He has never gone over 20. And I worry about his ceiling, especially with, their different matchups. He is going against the Chargers this week. The Chargers give up a lot of points to wide receivers. So I would start Garrett Wilson over Chris Olave this week.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson is just a damn good wide receiver. The way that he's producing with Zach Wilson right now is pretty impressive considering it's with Zach Wilson, and it just makes you wonder about how good he could have been with Aaron Rodgers this year. But I think that even in this current situation, he's been ultra consistent this season. He's just been really solid week in and week out. And that is not something you can say about Chris Olave, and he's going against the Chargers defense and all of their Brandon Staley-ness. So give me Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I feel like overall we've seen a pretty consistent season from Garrett Wilson, but probably not the highs we wanted, but he hasn't really hit too many bad lows yet. I like Garrett Wilson in this matchup. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson here.
All right, 2 more. Devontae Smith against the Cowboys.
Ooh, that is definitely interesting, especially with the matchup and how they've been doing. Devontae Smith finally had a good game last week, 99 yards and a touchdown. His first touchdown in like 6 weeks, though. With how A.J. Brown's been playing, I don't know. It's tough to take anybody on the Eagles besides A.J. Brown. I I think I would lean Chris Olave just for the fact that he's the number one and they are facing the Bears. It's a lot easier of a matchup. The Dallas secondary is not to be toyed with. So I would start Chris Olave.
I don't know. The Dallas secondary down Trayvon Diggs, you have to remember, and then so that and the whatever I don't even know who their other corners are, but the top corner is going to be on AJ Brown. So you've got the number 3 guy, whoever that is. I'm fully blanking on who it is going to be on Devontae Smith. So it's going to be a relatively decent matchup. He finally had a good week last week. And having a good week is not something I could say about Chris Olave this season. So it's going to be Devontae Smith.
I think it's Stephon Gilmore is their second.
No, that's right.
And then
that's
it's
right.
Deron Bland, who is, I think, leading the league in interceptions.
Oh, okay. It's actually better than I thought.
Yeah.
Never mind. But anyway, again, Devontae Smith is coming off of his best week of the season. I don't think you could say Chris Olave has had a best week.
Yeah, I definitely understand that that course of thought, but when it comes to the Eagles offense, the only 2 guys I really look at, really 3 guys I look at that are the consistent fantasy options that are not the quarterback would be AJ Brown, DeAndre Swift, and Dallas Goedert. And Dallas Goedert has had some up and down weeks as well. Devonta Smith has not proven to be a consistent fantasy option so far this year. He has not gotten the touches that we were all hoping he would. So for that reason, I am going to go with Chris Olave. I also think Dallas is a very tough defensive matchup. It should be a tough battle, and that offense will run through AJ Brown. And if they start mixing in other receivers, it will be Devonta Smith and Julio Jones and what's his name? Almeida Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, thank you. Zacchaeus. If they're going to spread the ball, they're giving it to everyone, not just Devonta Smith as well. So give me the number 1 option, Chris Olave.
Did you call him Alamade? Like he was a flavor?
I honestly, I have yet to go through and
Zacchaeus.
All right, last one. Mike Evans against the Texans.
Oh, Mike Evans. Absolutely Mike Evans. I don't even need to say too much else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid matchup for Mike Evans, and he's been very underrated in fantasy this year, especially in PPR. I think he's just been a really solid, wide receiver 2, and that's not something you can say about Chris Olave this year. So it's Mike Evans for me.
Yeah, Mike Evans has had a really solid season. He's a top 15 fantasy wide receiver right now. And overall, he's been very solid this year. I mean, yeah, he's had a few down weeks, but recently he's put up decent numbers. I'm going to go Mike Evans here.
All right, so let's move on away from Chris Olave. They're going to get him. They're going to get him his touches this week. They're playing the Bears. It's a get right game. They got to get him going. Mensch or bench? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 options. Tell me who you're starting of the 3. Ken Walker versus Baltimore, Rachaad White versus Houston, or Tony Pollard versus the Eagles.
Ooh, okay, this is interesting. Tony Pollard has been not great this season, and going against Philly is, I think, behind San Francisco, probably has the best run defense in the league. I'm going to go Ken Walker here, honestly. I know the Ravens also have a very good defense, but Ken Walker's been my RB1 most of the season, and I can't move away from a guy who's been so consistent. Last week, 8 points, I think, was his worst game of the season, and it wasn't great, but he still has showed promise, and the Seahawks, can move the ball. So I think I'm going to go Ken Walker out of these 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've got 2 really solid running backs going against great defenses, and then you have one of my least favorite running backs in all of fantasy going against a pretty good matchup. So it is a bit interesting. I just hate Rachaad White, so I'm sort of ruling him out. I'm not a big Rachaad White guy in fantasy. And I think both Baltimore and Philly are difficult matchups for running backs, but Tony Pollard, I just don't think is as good as Ken Walker. So it's going to be Ken Walker for me.
I don't think I really need to add much else to this. This is easily Ken Walker to me. It is painful watching the Buccaneers try to do run plays. They just do not know how to use Rachaad White properly, and it's kind of hard to watch. And then, like you guys have said, Philadelphia defensive line can be really tough for Dallas and Tony Pollard to get through. Baltimore is another tough matchup, as you guys have mentioned, but Ken Walker, I think, is a leg above them. So give me Kenneth Walker easily.
Rashad White is getting a lot of catches. So if you have him in PPR, I'm not necessarily starting him in front of Ken Walker or Tony Pollard, but he is able to catch up on that. All right. This is a little RB2, RB3 kind of call here. Chuba Hubbard versus the Colts, Aaron Jones against the Rams, or Ramondre Stevenson against the Commanders.
Ew.
You got to do it. You got to start
So I got
somebody.
to choose one. I'm going to say Ramondre Stevenson versus the Commanders because they just traded half their D line easily. And Aaron Jones has been another huge disappointment in fantasy. And even though he was supposedly healthy last week, AJ Dillon, I still think out-touched him. Or it was pretty much 50-50. So the Green Bay offense has looked horrible. Not to say the Patriots offenses look good, but they've looked better as of late. And Ramondre Stevenson has gotten a lot of work. He's a great receiving back. And Zeke is not really that much competition for him. Also, Kendrick Bourne out for the season, their leading receiver on the team. I could see some more passes going to the running back. So Ramondre Stevenson, Washington is a great matchup, especially if they don't have Montez Sweat and Chase Young anymore. So Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne are going to have a long day. So I'm going to go Ramondre.
Yeah, this is disgusting, but I think I would go Ramondre too. Best matchup. Again, they just traded half their D-line. Not to say the D-line isn't still solid. You still have Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, but I think they're going to be kind of mentally broken this week after selling a lot of those guys. And Aaron Jones has been terrible this year, and I never want anything to do with Chuba. So Ramondre it is.
Yeah, I'm not huge on Chuba Hubbard. The Packers offense as a whole has been disappointing this year. I actually just dropped Christian Watson off my team because I have no use for him anymore. And I drafted that man
Dropping
I think
him is crazy.
I didn't think I would, but I have bigger needs now. And it's like I don't need
bye weeks,
bye weeks and everything. So I don't need Christian Watson anymore. And that entire Packers offense has just been very disappointing. So Ramondre Stevenson by default, it pretty much is. Like we said earlier, with the D-line half fit being traded, two absolute superstars being traded away from the Washington defense, I think it's a really good matchup for Ramondre Stevenson.
So you heard Zach, by cutting Christian Watson, he's going to have a 200 yards, 3
Oh
touchdowns.
yeah, no. This is the week while they're also contemplating benching Jordan Love.
Let's skip ahead a little bit then and say Christian Watson versus the Rams, Jahan Dotson versus the Patriots, or Mike Thomas against the Bears.
Ooh, that's
people have to make these choices.
That's a disgusting choice. I would probably say Jahan Dotson versus the Patriots. Curtis Samuel got injured at the very end of the game last week, so I would keep a note on his practice activity this week. If Curtis Samuel is out, I would definitely like Jahan Dotson as a number 2 guy. Terry McLaurin getting most of the defensive attention, and Jahan Dotson finally had that breakout week. Funny enough, I think everyone in a lot of my leagues had dropped him 2 weeks ago, like right before that game, and then boom, he goes off and he's the top waiver out of the week. Michael Thomas has been very consistent. I don't think he's gone under 8 points in like any game, but he hasn't gone over 12. So if you want to secure 10 points, Michael Thomas. If you want someone who has 20-point upside, Jahan Dotson. If you want to lose your week, Christian Watson.
I agree with everything you just said, like word for word. I don't even have to say anything more. I think Dotson. If you want the boomer bust, go with Dotson. If you want the safety, go with Michael Thomas, which is weird to call Michael Thomas safe, by the way.
Yeah, he kind of did a little role switch of being just like the ultra consistent guy now.
Yeah, I'm just in favor of the consistency, but I like Mike Thomas a lot more than Jahan Dotson this week. I don't know how much bigger his role gets against New England. Also, lest we forget, New England does have a solid defensive unit. This is, Sam Howell in his first full season. There could always be. I know he diced up my Eagles, but it's like it's not every week they're going to be able to dice up a division opponent. So I like Mike Thomas a lot more. I'm going Mike Thomas.
All right. How about 3 boomer bust guys? Gabe Davis versus the Bengals, Josh Downs against the Panthers, and Rashee Rice against the Dolphins in Germany.
I actually might say Josh Downs. Gabe Davis had a huge week last week and has looked good. But Josh Downs has shown a lot of promise, especially with Gardner Minshew. I mean, he's looked really good. I think he had over 100 yards in a couple of his last few games, and is scoring touchdowns. And the Colts offense just as a whole has kind of been showing a lot of life. And the Bengals defense, I think, is going to show up in this game. The Bengals play the Bills well. The last time they played, they held them to 3 points in the playoffs. So this is, I think, going to be an ugly game. I think the Bengals will actually win this game. So I don't like it for the Bills. So I'm going to say Josh Downs versus Carolina.
Yeah, you made one mistake, Brian, in your intro to that this question, in that you said it's 3 boomer bust guys. One of these guys isn't boomer bust. Josh Downs has been so consistent this year. He's been great for the last probably 5 straight weeks. And I'm a big Josh Downs guy. He was my wide receiver 5 in the class, my favorite of the non-first round receivers. And I'm so happy to see him playing this well. I drafted him in all of my dynasty leagues. And I just think that he is just such a good receiver, and I would absolutely go with him here.
No, the boomer bust is like bust, boom, bust, boom, 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 boom. The last 4 weeks.
So I actually liked what Jesse was saying about Josh Downs, especially with Gabe Davis just coming off a pretty big week. I do like Josh Downs overall. He's been getting a lot more touches recently, going against a weak Carolina defense. I think that might be the best overall matchup here.
All right, let's do a quarterback mentor bench. We don't do this a lot, but we have bye weeks. You have Justin Fields out. You have some others. People have been obliterated. Gardner Minshew versus Carolina, Derek Carr against Chicago, or CJ Stroud against the Bucs.
Fire me up, Gardner Minshew. Minshew mania. I think Derek Carr versus Chicago. I would never want to start Derek Carr in fantasy. He will never be a relevant fantasy quarterback in my eyes. Like, he's never in his career really been a guy he'll get you 12 to 16 points. Maybe if you have a 6-point passing touchdown league, he's a little better, but I just don't like it. I think that they're going to run the ball. I think Taysom Hill probably finds the end zone again versus the Bears, and he's just waiting to vulture both Kamara and Derek Carr. CJ Stroud's also a great matchup and I think a very fine option, but Gardner Minshew versus arguably the worst team in the league, I like him here, and he's been putting up some points lately. So Gardner Minshew.
I'm a professional Derek Carr hater, but I actually think he's going to be my pick here. If you look at his last 4 weeks in fantasy, he's put up 15, 20, 19, and 20. That's pretty good for a quarterback, especially if you're dealing with...
don't look at the 3 games before that where he had 3, 8, and 6.
No, but he's had 4 straight good weeks. And if you're dealing with bye weeks and you're dealing with injuries and you need a quarterback, Derek Carr is probably on your waiver wire. And I just think in a good matchup against the Bears, he's been pretty solid the last few weeks. I think that's got to be the pick.
Let me just say, this entire show was just set up to lull Jack to sleep, to then just pick Derek Carr in this question.
Yep. I know. You've been trying to get me to say something nice about Derek Carr the whole season.
I don't even like him that much, but I did what you did. I looked at the last 4 weeks, and I'm like, in this one league I'm in, 20-plus points every week. I'm like, man, might need to fire him up if you're missing somebody.
Yeah, no, I'm starting him in the staff league this week.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice. Lot of Derek Carr love, and honestly, I'm going to continue it. I think he has a better overall matchup compared to Gardner Minshew. CJ Stroud coming off a pretty disappointing week. I don't have a lot of confidence going against arguably a stronger defense in Tampa Bay. So I don't have a lot of confidence at the moment in CJ Stroud. So to me, it was always Carr versus Minshew, and I'm going to go Carr. He does have the better matchup this week.
All right, last one, no analysis. Pick a defense. Jets D versus the Chargers, Bills D against Cincinnati, or the Giants D against the Raiders?
Jets.
Giants. Break the tie.
Giants.
The Giants D has been really good. I also want to debate you guys into saying that. Obviously, Jesse zagged, but the Giants D has been pretty solid.
I zagged by choosing one of the best defenses in the NFL.
No, that's not a bad pick, but the Giants have played well, and they're going against Aiden O'Connell and a linebacker.
Exactly.
taken over as head
Exactly,
coach.
yeah.
So it should be, and they,
Yeah.
they fired their offensive coordinator this morning too. So the Raiders are a mess.
Yep.
Wait, but their offense
And
was,
Devontae
their
Adams
offense
may
was
just
bad,
walk
though.
away.
Their offense was bad, so if they fired everyone, theoretically it should get better. So
Who the hell is in charge?
Devontae Adams.
Who's leading?
Devontae Adams is the captain now.
Devontae Adams is the new OC.
They have
Give
no
the
head
ball to
coach,
me and
no
only
offensive
me.
coordinator, and no general manager. Who's
Do
in
they bring
charge?
Chucky back just for this week? Chucky comes back to be the
Oh my
OC.
Get Gruden in there.
Oh my god!
All right. A new look at on a segment right here. So if you're playing standard, I like to get at least 10 points out of my receivers or running backs. If you're playing PPR, that goes up to about 15. I'm calling it the Podna line. So you're going to tell me, are these players above or below the Podna line? Above 15 PPR or above 10 standard? James Cook against the Bengals.
I'm going to say under. I think he's going under the Podna line.
Yeah, I'm gonna say below the Podna line too. Difficult matchup, and I'm not a huge Cook guy.
Definitely below the Podna line.
All right. Kareem Hunt against the Cardinals.
Under again. Jerome Ford's going to be at full strength this week. I don't think that there's as much of a backfield split as there was last week. So give me under.
Yeah, it's gonna be under for me too. It's because of Jerome Ford. It's because he's gonna get the ball a lot more this week.
Taking the words out of my mouth. This is under.
DeAndre Swift against the Cowboys.
Ooh, I'm going to say over. I think that he's going to get a lot of work, especially in the passing game as well. There's going to be pressure on Jalen Hurts, and I think that they're going to have to win this game on the ground if they're going to do it. So give me over.
I think it's going to be under. It's a difficult matchup, and Swift is one of those guys that really teeters on the Podna line here. He can get you over like half the time and under half the time. And I think in a difficult matchup, I'll lean under.
I know it's a difficult matchup, but I can see DeAndre Swift being used as a goal line back, getting multiple touchdowns to really boost his numbers. So give me the over, but it will be close, like Jack mentioned. This is a guy who I could see going either way on the Podna line. But I think he's going to get a touchdown or two. They're going to want to score their touchdowns on the ground. So give me DeAndre Swift with the over.
You're saying they're giving up on the tush push? They're going to give the ball to DeAndre Swift? That was going to be my analysis. He can't get a goal line touchdown.
No. I'm talking either like when they're 3 yards out, they're not running the tush push, they're handing it to DeAndre Swift. Or now we've seen it, the tush push fake.
The jet sweep tush push, yeah.
That was the most.
The jet sweep tush push fake, which means not only can we just stuff it up the middle, it's a formation that we can do different things.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting.
You guys always make fun of how much I glaze Kyle Shanahan's play calling, but I will say that was the most beautiful play call I've seen all season.
I think we're all waiting for the jet sweep Philly special where they do a jet sweep and then another pass and Jalen Hurts rolls out and they throw the touchdown. I think that would just complete football. I think it would just be the end all be all.
I mean that's basically what the Philly special was anyways.
No, but out of the
I'm waiting.
You jet sweep it to a reverse to a pass to the quarterback.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he climbs under the line and then
no, he
pass
takes
to
the
the
ball,
right.
does the handoff, waits, and then rolls out to the flat on the right side.
Gotcha.
Easy 6. Doug Peterson. Oh wait, you're not there anymore. Nick Sirianni, hire me.
I'm waiting for the Eagles just to say we're so good at this play, we're running it on 4th and 5. Stop us. All right, sorry. Tyler Lockett against the Ravens.
I'm going to say under. That Ravens defense has been incredible and is allowing the least amount of points and just Ravens defense has been absolutely locked down. I'm going to say under for Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I'm saying the under too. Tyler Lockett had a great week last week, and God forbid he have 2 good weeks in a row. So give me the under.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm the Seahawks, I'm worried about that Ravens secondary. They're a very good secondary in Baltimore. I'm going to the under here.
All right, Drake London against the Vikings. New QB in Atlanta with Taylor Heineke.
I'm going to say over. I have been since the preseason saying that Taylor Heineke needed to be the starting quarterback of the Falcons, and I think he's going to show everybody why this week. He's got an easy matchup. I mean, the Vikings are good, but it's an easier matchup in that he'll probably have the ball a lot because whoever's QB1 for the Vikings is going to be new to that offense. And I just think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Atlanta to score. So Drake London has honestly been one of the more unsung heroes of fantasy this year. He's been kind of flying under the radar, but has steadily he's gone over 10 PPR points 5 weeks in a row. That's only 10. He's only gone over the Podna line twice this season, but I think he makes it the third time this week. So give me the over.
Yeah, I agree with you that Taylor Heineke is probably better for him. And he's definitely better for the offense as a whole, but I'm just not a huge Drake London guy. And I don't know that he's going to be the biggest beneficiary of Heineke being in there. I think Kyle Pitts is a big beneficiary. And I actually think Bijan is a big beneficiary in the passing game. But Drake London, I'm just not a huge Drake London guy, so I'll take the under.
All right,
Yeah,
Zach.
Yeah, come on. Definitely don't blame you with Drake London. He's a guy that I thought would be a lot better for his first career in fantasy, but he just has not. But I do like Taylor Heineke a lot. I think he'll get just over the Podna line this week. I mean, he has been having a pretty solid overall season. But, with a new quarterback that actually knows how to play the game of football, I think Drake London has a pretty good chance of getting the over. So,
well, one team in that matchup has a new quarterback. The other one also has a new quarterback, but we can argue whether it's a quarterback at all. Jordan Addison versus the Falcons.
Under. Definitely going to be under. And he's been phenomenal. And actually, I think he might be QB proof. And if it is Josh Dobbs, I think that maybe this could be closer to the over. But I forget the dude's name who might be starting for them. But
Jaron Hall.
Yeah, if it's Jaron Hall, I'm going to say under. Also, Atlanta has a good secondary. And Jordan Addison is likely going to be seeing a lot of AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, a lot of those, that defensive attention. So I say it's under for Addison. He crashes back to earth after a couple really strong weeks, and they're going to need some time to figure out the offense with the new QB. So definitely an under.
Look, I understand that the quarterback situation is a mess, but someone needs to get the ball. Jefferson is out. Alex Madison sucks. So you have to be throwing it because you can't run it. So it's going to be Addison and Hawkinson. I mean, those are the only two guys on the team that can make any sort of play. So it may not be the conventional way that Addison gets the ball, but I think they're going to try to scheme the ball into his hands one way or another because he is one of the few playmakers left on that offense, and they just need to have the ball in his hands. So I'm actually going to take the over here.
Yeah, with Jordan Addison, I mean, I feel like I really can't overlook the QB situation right now. I mean, I feel like if it was someone that I could actually put a little bit of confidence in, he'd be able to go over. But just because it's going to be, Jaron Hall is the quarterback?
Yeah.
Like, unless Jaron Hall is suddenly the next coming of Brock Purdy, where, just shows up, balls out, I don't see that happening. I am going to go with the under.
All right, last one. Jesse's favorite NFL player, Taysom Hill against the Bears.
Oh, man. He is so tricky because he'll either get 20, 25 points or 3. There's no in between. And that works out to him averaging right around this line. So it's tough to say. I'm going to say over for this week, though. They're going against the Bears. I don't know. I was going to say all it takes is one touchdown, but that's only like 7 points. You're only like halfway there. I'm still going to take the over, though. They're going against the Bears. I think that they're going to have like 45 minutes of possession in this game. And Taysom Hill is likely to run one. He could also pass one. Hell, he might even catch one too. This might be a trifecta game for him. So I'm going to say over for Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say the over too. I mean, he's hit over the Podna line the last 2 weeks in a row, and he's got a really good matchup here. I mean, he's just been so much fun this season. I've always been a little weirded out by the whole Taysom Hill experiment, but I think this is really the first year that he's actually been like a really good weapon for the Saints. And I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to take the over. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
I'm not rolling with the over. Like Jesse said, he's either going to get 25 or 3. I'm going to bank on the 3. So give me the
I always hated Taysom Hill as someone who owned Alvin Kamara for the last 4 years in a dynasty league. Now I have both. So I don't care if he vultures any more touchdowns because – and also he's just such a cheat code. If you don't have one of the top 5 tight ends in fantasy, I honestly think he's the next best option. Apparently, he has the same amount of touches this season as Travis Kelce, which is a wild
Yeah,
stat.
but he's taking 10 carries a game.
Exactly. So touches are different from receptions, but Taysom Hill, there's no other tight end in the league that will get you consistently more passing and rushing points than receiving. And the fact that he's listed as a tight end is unreal. So,
Because
Well, Chico.
what else are you going to list him as?
no, I'm not saying he
What
should
are
be.
you going to do? Is he a running back?
I mean, I think actually
Yeah,
on sleeper
no.
he's a quarterback as well. But if you're starting him as your quarterback, you're in bigger trouble.
No,
you're
that's
down bad.
You're in a
problematic.
64-man.
Look, I've had a love-hate relationship. When they would take Drew Brees off the field to put Taysom Hill in, no way. But now that they're taking Derek Carr off, I'm like,
Yeah, I
okay,
feel a
we
little
got
better.
Oh, no.
All right, Jesse, over to you.
Alrighty, so we're done with that. Let's move on. We're gonna do. I'm gonna put this in the chat so anyone who wants to can play along. So what we're gonna do. Guess the draft class based on their Madden ratings. So we got a draft class here, 15 players, just the top 15. You need to tell me who the player is and then also deduce what draft class this is based on their Madden ratings. So we're going to go until you guys hit all these picks. So I want to see how many of these names you can recognize and based on the positions. So Jack, it seems like your brain is working. So
Yeah,
tell me your thought process.
How much do you want me to dominate this right now? Because
We're going to go in order of, you,
I-
Zach, Brian, you, Zach, Brian.
okay, because I can get a lot of these. I think.
I'm sure you could.
Okay, so should I just start with the first pick?
Right off the bat. Well, if you can tell me what class this is, too.
Oh, the class is 2021. I think.
Correct.
Because, and I'll give you the first player that gave it away. The highest tight end ever drafted is Kyle Pitts in 2021.
Yep.
So that's the giveaway.
You're correct. Kyle Pitts, 85 overall in Madden.
Don't know why he's 85.
He's a god in Madden. If they used him like they did in Madden, he would actually be
Yeah.
the best tight end in the league.
Let me tell you, he is an 85 overall. He's a really good tight end. He just doesn't get the football.
Yeah. All right, Zach, who you got?
All right. I'm going to go with the first overall pick of this draft, Trevor Lawrence.
Ela coming in at an 82. Brian,
I am so bad at draft classes.
you should remember this one.
Trevor, maybe I should, but I'm totally going blank. The Kyle Pitts one I knew. I was like tight end, number 4 overall. I remember Atlanta reaching.
Yep.
But is this the same draft as Drake London, or was he the year before?
He's the year after, I think.
The year after.
Yeah, Drake London
Okay.
is not one of the receivers in the top 10.
Okay, then, and it's not the Olave year because he was drafted 12th.
Nope.
I'm out. Skip me. I'll
Okay,
come
come
back.
on, man. There's one you should absolutely get. Look at the ratings.
There's look,
No, I'm looking at them. Is it Garrett Wilson?
No,
Oh
it's
my
not
God.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson was the same year as Olave.
All right, Jack, put him out of his misery.
Well,
Please.
where
I told you I'm bad at this.
I guess I'll just take the second pick, which was Zach Wilson.
Correct. This is Zach Wilson.
Okay.
And you know what? Let's just keep going down the list. Let's round out the top 3. This is Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, number 3, 68 overall.
Yep.
Right.
Brian, the 5th pick is all yours, man. Come on.
You know this.
I know it is.
Who?
Yeah.
How? There's
And I
only
can't-
there's only a handful of receivers who are even above a 92. So,
Brian, you know who this is. This is your guy.
and no, it's not.
My guy?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Not your guy, but like
No, AJ Green's my guy. I mean, in fantasy this year.
AJ Green.
Brown,
Green.
AJ Brown. Yeah, I don't.
Wide receiver, 5th
Terrible.
overall.
I know. I'm terrible at this. I'm trying to pull up a list of the best wide receivers here so I can in fantasy.
it's 2021. These guys are all active. I don't know why you're pulling up a list of like, the greatest of all time.
Jamar.
There you
Jamar
go.
Chase,
Chase.
5th overall.
Oh
Come
my
on,
God.
man. That LSU.
Now I have a sense of what draft this is because
I'm dying. You said AJ Green. What are the odds you think he just?
I meant AJ Brown. I said AJ Green.
Yeah, but you accidentally randomly mentioned a Bengals receiver as we're talking about a Bengals.
Oh,
receiver.
right. Good point.
Oh my god,
All right,
that
Jack.
was hilarious. All right, number 6, I'm pretty sure was Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle, number 6.
I'm just gonna move down the list because I remember this draft.
Oh, let me
very
have number
fondly.
7. I know that one.
I'm giving you 7. I'm taking
Okay,
number
good.
10, and that's Devontae
Okay,
Smith.
perfect.
Devontae Smith,
That's
number
Devontae
10.
Smith.
Give me Penei Sewell.
Penei
number
Sewell,
7.
there he is.
I just remember they had to choose between Chase and Sewell.
Yes, they did.
Oh, which corner do I want to take? I know both of them. I guess I'll take the harder one because I want you guys to be able
That's
to get
nice.
it. So the 83 overall is J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn, 8th overall.
Give
You're
me
such
God.
a
It's so weird seeing how he's a 97 now in Madden, but Micah Parsons at number 12
Michael Parsons.
because of the Eagles.
Mhm.
The Eagles Cowboys rare trade to screw over the Giants at 11, which forced them to trade back. The Bears traded up for this pick.
A cornerback 95. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is a pretty
We
good player.
earlier this year argued that he was possibly the best corner in the league.
Oh, Sauce.
No.
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 Sauce was the
No.
4th pick.
Like I
We
said,
were arguing is
I'm not a draft
Sauce
nerd.
better than this guy? And we said no.
I don't know.
There.
I told you this is a stupid game.
Jack.
Pat Surtain.
Pat Surtain, 95.
I'll finish with number 11 there since I got 10, 12, 11. The guy the Giants traded out of this pick. The Bears traded into this pick, and this is Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Come on, Brian, you literally said the Bears traded up like 5 seconds ago. You didn't catch
I
that?
did.
I wasn't listening.
All right, we got 13, 14, and 15 left. End of the round. Brian, surely pick number 15 you can get. It's a quarterback.
Come on.
Quarterback 73.
15th overall.
That means nothing to me.
You
really.
liked this guy earlier in the season.
Oh, that's sad. He probably sucks.
Yeah. My best hint is that he sucks.
Well, that could be anybody.
I mean, he is a 73, so
I don't know.
He's
I'm not-
currently
I
a
just-
starting quarterback. He actually
God.
won last week.
No, Zach Wilson's already off the board, so I don't know.
Oh my god.
Jack.
Just
All right.
answer it. Why do I have to be good at everything?
I'll take the quarterback because that's the only one I actually know with confidence. It's Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, baby. All right, we got 2 O linemen left. Both actually one of them is a tackle, one of them is a guard. My bad. This should be a guard.
Okay.
I can tell you the Eagles really messed this draft up. I do remember that in the early 20s by not taking Justin Jefferson. I do
This
remember
is
that.
That's not this draft.
Is that
No,
it's not this
It's not?
draft.
No,
No,
it's
no.
the year.
Jefferson was the year before Chase.
You're
They didn't
right
mess it
because
up 'cause
Chase
We
they
got
actually
got
did
Flowers.
well in this draft. We had a really good draft for this one.
Okay.
I forget which one he is, but I'm pretty sure this is the Rashawn Slater draft.
Oh,
Do you know what position Rashawn Slater plays?
Does he play
He
tackle?
does.
So he's the
Rashawn
14th?
Slater,
Yeah.
87 overall.
Okay. I don't know
All
14.
right, Jack, are you a
so-
nerd enough to know 14? I can
course
give
he
you a
is.
hint.
I feel like I do know it, but I can't. It's not coming.
USC offensive guard.
Oh, Elijah Veritas.
Yes.
As soon as you mentioned USC, he
Yeah.
knew.
All I
What
need
the
is
hell?
USC. Yeah.
All right.
All I need
That
is
is that. Good job, Jack. Zach, you did all right as well. And Brian, I'm never asking you these questions. Yeah.
I don't even care that I'm terrible at that. What a useless talent.
I'm way too good at this for no reason. It's.
I feel like I did pretty well.
Yeah.
I definitely I went for the ones that I knew though. So
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone for Vera Tucker or Slater until the end either.
no, I was like I'm pretty sure Slater was this draft. But I didn't remember where he was picked because I was like, okay, like Sewell and Slater were like the same draft, and once Sewell was there, I was like, okay, this is the Slater draft.
All
That's how I
right,
remember.
we're gonna finish it off with a quick little rapid fire. Who was a higher overall in Madden 24? Cooper Kupp or AJ Brown?
Cooper Cup.
AJ Brown.
No, it's Cup.
And these are current ratings, by the way, like updated to week 8.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Kupp,
Okay.
96. AJ Brown, 95. Very close.
Stupid.
All right.
Stupid.
Terry McLaurin or CeeDee Lamb?
It has to be CD, right?
CD by a mile.
It has to. If it's not, then no one should ever play
Yeah.
Madden again.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin, 92.
I know.
What?
CeeDee Lamb, 91.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Wait, CD Lamb's a 91 and Terry is what?
92.
How? Terry is not that
He's
good.
he's talented.
He's not a 92 though. He's like an 86 to me.
Nah, I think that Terry should be above a 90, but the fact that he's above CD is a bit crazy.
He's not.
All right, Mike Evans or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Going off the fact that I think Mike Evans is an X factor and I think Amon-Ra is not, I think I'll take Mike Evans.
Yeah, Madden does love their veterans. That's a pretty smart way to look at it. I'm gonna go Mike Evans as well.
Definitely Mike Evans. They're living about 6 months in the past.
Mike
On that.
Evans, 90. Amon-Ra, 89. Very close.
Yep.
All right, Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk?
I would be pretty shocked if it's not Debo.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's Debo with an X factor or something.
Yeah, Debo. He plays 2 positions. It's Debo.
89, 88 for Deebo Samuel.
Wow.
DK Metcalf or Jalen Waddle?
Ooh.
I think it would be DK.
I actually think it's Waddle. I think it's Waddle here.
I think it's Waddle just because his speed factor brings the average up.
Jalen Waddle is an 87. DK Metcalf is an 88. So just
Let's go.
All right, Travis Etienne or Austin Eckler?
I think Eckler.
I think this is Eckler pretty easily because of the season he had last year.
Yeah, I think it's close. Obviously, they're all within 1, it seems, because of ATN's year, but it's Eckler
It's
overall.
Travis Etienne, 89 to 88
Wow.
for Austin Eckler, and that's a recent. Eckler dropped a rating and Etienne went up a rating.
You know, I honestly think that's right. I just didn't think Madden would.
No, yeah. I'm in the same mindset where it's like I just thought Madden factored like the history a little bit more because they always seem to some of the rings like, oh well, they had a really good season last year and it's kind of carrying over, so I guess they're that.
Yeah.
But like,
All right, 3 more here. Joe Mixon or Kenneth Walker?
I think it's Joe Mixon because Madden is stupid.
yeah, if this isn't Kenneth Walker, I might uninstall
So did you say who you think it is?
Kenneth Walker. It should be.
Oh,
Kenneth
okay.
Walker.
I think it's Joe Mixon. Still, just too much. They love the Bengals.
Joe Mixon an 87, Kenneth Walker an 88, just
Oh.
above Joe Mixon.
Yes.
All right, DeAndre Swift or Bijan Robinson?
I'm gonna wow. I'm gonna lean Bijan.
It honestly should be Bijan, but the way that they've been using him with the Falcons, it's probably DeAndre Swift.
The individual moves that Bijan makes, it's got to be. He's probably a 103 in Madden.
Yeah.
They probably made a special category for him.
Bijan Robinson, I think, was one of the highest rookie players in Madden in history. He's an 85. DeAndre Swift is an 84. He's right above him. Last one for the road. Darren Waller or Evan Ingram?
It would be very Madden to have Darren Waller better. So I'm gonna say it's Darren Waller.
I'm still gonna pick who I feel is better, anyways. Give me Evan Ingram.
No, it's Waller. They love him.
Both Giants tight ends, or one in the past. Evan Ingram, 86. Darren Waller, 85.
Okay.
Actually wild to me that they have Evan Ingram above.
Well, I think that's right. I think Ingram's better right now.
Oh no, it's right. It's just you wouldn't think that Madden would do
I
it.
made a few picks in that game where I was just taking the guy that I thought Madden would have higher. Like generally, I assume that Madden is wrong, but they actually would be a little bit wrong today.
All right, well, that concludes that. I believe we are at our time for Mr. Brian. But
Yeah.
are we wrapping up, or do we want to hit a connections while we're here?
definitely got to hit a few connections.
Yeah, we can hit
Me,
connections.
me and Jack both made connections. I think we want to do them.
All right, Brian, can you stay or do you
All
gotta
right,
bow
well,
out?
no, I'm gonna bow.
All right.
Sayonara.
It's been fun. I hate draft classes, but you already know that. Bye.
All right, he's gone.
All right.
Says the guy whose team traded an entire draft class for Ricky Williams.
I would hate draft classes too.
I would hate draft classes too if I traded my entire potential class for one guy.
Oh my god.
All right. Me and Jack each made a connections, so I'm excited to see what we've come up with.
All right, let me get this up on the screen here.
Oh. Hey, it's mine.
Boo! Boo! You sucks. Okay. Okay, what we got here? It looks mine's definitely more historic, but I like that yours is pretty recent. It's really good.
Yeah.
All right, let's play NBA connections. So, basketball edition, we're going to start off. Okay, right away, first thing I notice, Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah.
All right. I believe he's Canadian as well. However, I do not see any other Canadian players on the board. There are a couple international players. So I did foreign-born NFL players. We might have a foreign-born NBA player.
Here's
Markkanen, Sabonis.
Here's a interesting category that stands out to me a little bit, right? Thinking about the dunk contest.
Yeah.
I see Gordon, Griffin, Levine, Zach Levine right there. And I don't really know who else I'd put in that.
John Wall.
Donovan Mitchell won a dunk
He
contest.
did.
Aaron
Did
Gordon
John Wall-
did not. Aaron Gordon did not win. a
Wait,
dunk.
DeMar DeRozan's won a dunk contest. DeAndre Jordan, did he ever? He's been in one. I don't
No.
think he won.
Blake Griffin's won. Zach Levine's won twice.
Wait, Aaron Gordon never actually won.
No, he never won.
Oh, that's
Donovan
throwing
Mitchell-
us off there.
Donovan Mitchell won.
And so did
might have
DeMar.
won.
DeMar
Let's
did
see.
win. Oh, one away.
Maybe get rid of DeMar for Aaron Gordon. Could just be like, oh, this guy got a 50 score.
One away. No, I think it's John Wall. I want to
Okay.
say John Wall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
baby.
There we
Did
go.
DeMar not win?
Very nice.
I don't think DeMar
I
won.
don't think DeMar ever
You-
won. DeMar was in a
Jesse,
few.
you would
but I
know
don't
if
think he ever
DeMar
won.
won, though, to be fair. I feel like you would know that.
I really thought he did, but maybe. Oh, you know what?
He was in a few of them. He was in multiple, but I don't think he ever won.
Fun fact, Kobe Bryant won a dunk contest.
He did in his rookie season.
Very weird.
Oh yeah, nah. DeRozan. Oh, DeRozan got robbed by Blake Griffin in that one. I remember he had some crazy dunks, and Blake Griffin jumped over Ikea, and everyone lost their mind. So, all right.
The Aaron Gordon one was definitely in there to throw you.
No, you're right, because I was just thinking about it. But also funny, Andre Drummond has been in a dunk contest.
Yeah, he has.
There's a lot of interesting big men here that are now a bit past their prime, but were really good. I like Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, DeAndre Jordan, and Brooke Lopez to maybe be something.
One away.
Okay.
Brooke Lopez, I know. I think he was the blocks leader like a season or two ago. Definitely not Kevin Love. I wonder if it has something to do with rebounding, because Andre Drummond and DeAndre Jordan are two of the best rebounders like ever.
Do you, I mean,
Like 10,000 career rebounds or something.
there's not enough players on here to. I feel like
right?
we just did those. I
I
feel
was
like
just checking.
there's not enough. To me, I can see DeAndre Drummond and Kevin Love all having 10,000 rebounds, but that's still a pretty high ask. Regardless, I don't see another player on here who could be a 10,000 rebound guy.
This was also one away. Love, Drummond, Jordan, and DeAndre Ayton.
Okay,
is
so
another
it's
one.
Love, Drummond, and Jordan most likely.
Yeah.
Let's try Aaron Gordon because he's another kind of big man. No,
Also one off. I think it could be Sabonis.
it could be Sabonis.
Oh, wait a minute. What if it's like averaged 10 rebounds in a season and it's Russell Westbrook?
It could be. You know what? Why not? Let's try it.
Oh, I really thought that was going
Okay.
to
How about we try Sabonis and Markkanen though? With
Bro, we're way too close. All right, there it is.
go.
Drummond, Jordan, Sabonis, Kevin Love, 15 boards per game in a season. Wow. I
That's
thought I
really
was
good.
close when I said 10 rebounds with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get it when you were on that path, but
I mean, we did get it. So
All
there you
right,
go.
all right. So,
We got 4 guards left.
exactly. Yeah.
DeRozan, Russ, Kemba, and Benedict. Let's try that. Nothing. Not even a one-off.
Wow. Okay. Interesting categories here then. I want to think of something like assists then. So I would think,
None of these guys are good at assists besides these two, though.
well, these two, and then kind of Brook Lopez, maybe. I don't know. Well, to be fair, Brook Lopez is more so known for his 3-point shooting now.
Hold up.
Passing.
Hold on. It's Jack. Let's look at the colleges. All right.
Right, the colleges. How can
We got
forget?
UConn for Kemba, UCLA for Russ, USC for DeRozan, Arizona for Ayton. Was Matherin also Arizona? Or
No, I don't know where he went, but he was in Arizona. I don't think he was.
I don't know where he went. Might have been Indiana or something. Aaron Gordon he went to a big school. He was
Maybe it's,
Aaron Gordon was Arizona, as well as DeAndre.
maybe it's Pac-12. Maybe it's all Pac-12 with
Did Laurie Marketing go to Arizona?
I don't think Laurie Markin even went to college. I don't even know if he went to college.
I think I have a hinting feeling that this is Arizona. Let's go! Oh my goodness!
Zach, you did everything in your power to throw Jesse off.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned.
You were selling the bag.
I just know Jack's gonna put a college one, and
He always puts a college.
I
He always
know
put a
for
college.
sure- I know for sure Gordon and Ayton, and then I had an image in my head of Laurie Marketing in an Arizona jersey and Matherin as well. Just
How?
kind of sounded.
How?
I honestly don't know how I did that. That was unreal.
That was awesome.
Okay, I got a
Alright.
feeling this has something to do.
Canadian guy get the colleges.
All right, so what is this last category? Maybe something with 3-point shooting because Brook Lopez is a 3-point shooting center.
Yeah, but
Right.
DeMar is not a good 3-point shooter.
Exactly. So I don't know.
So DeRozan, Westbrook, Lopez, Walker. None of these guys. Oh no, Brook Lopez is a champion. I'm trying to think of trades. These guys, DeRozan has been traded, to the Spurs.
No, Kemba's only been like 1 trade, maybe 2 trades.
Brook Lopez was traded, or was he? And Russell Westbrook.
No. Wait. Maybe it's like played on like a certain number of teams, like 3 or 4 teams.
DeRozan's been on 3. Russ
Kemba's
has been on like
3.
6.
I think
Kemba's been on way more than 3. The
No,
Hornets, the Celtics,
Hornets.
the Knicks, the Mavericks,
Oh, he was on the Mavericks. I forgot about the Mavericks. That
They're-
has to be it
He
though.
was on the Thunder.
the Thunder. He was there as well.
He was,
Like,
he was on the Thunder.
bro, he's been around. He bounced.
Yeah.
He bounced the last few years he was in the league.
Hmm.
But DeRozan's only been on 3. I don't know. Is it
Oh.
3 plus teams?
Maybe it's a certain stat line or whatever. I don't know. Let's see.
Trying to think of anything else before I click submit here. Jack, no hints.
I mean, think like records.
Records.
Oh, are these? I wonder if they have.
I have an idea. Lead a franchise like
Oh, it's
franchise-
definitely franchise
all-time
leader.
franchise single game scoring record. DeMar for the Raptors. Russell. That's what I'm thinking.
It's
Brook
not
Lopez
single
is the
game. It's
next.
franchise leader in either points or something. Because I
Yeah,
know
something
Brook
like that.
Lopez is the franchise leader in points. DeMar is ours. Kemba is probably the Hornets, and Russell's the Thunder. Yes, sir. Franchise all-time
Yeah.
leading scorer.
I,
Good.
I was there, but not right there.
You were close. But as soon as Jack said record and I looked up Brook Lopez, it's like the one thing I know about Brook Lopez is he's the Nets leader in points.
Yep.
Um,
Oh yeah. So yeah, Lopez the Nets leader, DeRozan the Raptors, Kemba the Hornets, and Russ the Thunder.
Well done.
Awesome.
All right. Let's
All
get
right. Mine. Time for mine.
Bitter done. All right. We got
All right.
round 2 of NBA
Ooh.
Connections. This one's made by Zach. We got some old heads on here this time. So we'll start her off. Manute Bol.
All right. Well,
This has to be something block related. If I see Manute Bol, Hassan Whiteside,
probably
Dwight
Hakeem.
Howard.
I would think Hakeem
Hakeem
has
was
something to do with
this
block.
might be like single season blocks leader. Like at least once.
Yeah. And I mean, I know Zach likes his stats like that.
That's one away. So I know Dwight, Hakeem, and Hassan. Okay, Dwight is a defensive player of the year. Hakeem's defensive player of the year.
Was Shaq ever DPOY? Or KG had to have been, right? I think KG was.
Yeah. Oh, that was
No, I
no
don't think
longer
we-
one away though. Interesting.
Oh, shoot.
So it's probably these three, or I don't know.
Those could it be
Kareem,
those from KG?
maybe. That's not one away either.
No.
Oh,
No.
so maybe it's not.
So that means it was Bowl had to have been in there. Like, wait, it has
is
to be, it's
Manute
definitely
Bol
something
doing
defensive.
on here? What is Manute Bol doing?
It's something
Okay, so
defensive.
I think
It
it's
has
these three and someone else. So Manute Bol, Hassan Whiteside, Hakeem. Is it like 10 blocks in a game, or a stupid amount of blocks? I know Hassan Whiteside has had some crazy games like that in the day.
like that just feels like Kevin Garnett.
It does. It's one away. Did Draymond ever have like a triple double, no points?
I feel like Draymond's more of a steals guy
Draymond
than
has definitely
blocks.
had like 10 steals in a game because I remember he had the triple double with no points. Oh my god, this guy's just laughing at us.
I am. This
Let's
is
try Manute, Hakeem, Kareem, and Hassan Whiteside.
Now I really know
Is that
what it's
one away
like.
too?
Jack, I know what it's
Yeah,
like to
one
be
away.
you when you're watching us struggle with your grid.
Oh, there it
Hey,
is.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yes.
12 plus 12 in a game.
12 in a single
That's sick.
game. That was a painful watch because you guys were dancing
Oh
around
my
this
god.
forever.
Hakeem,
You
Hassan,
you
Manute,
almost
and Jack.
immediately had it, and then you're just dancing around.
I was so convinced that Kevin Garnett was a part of that.
Nah, he's
I
not.
thought it was gonna be Dwight. I'm honestly surprised he
man.
wasn't. All right, moving
All
on.
right.
12 blocks in a game. We got it.
Okay. Well, if we're talking about like single game scoring, Kobe, Harden, Luka, and I could see Kareem being on there too.
Yeah, these guys
Like-
all have a ton of like 50-point games.
Yeah, like they've all had crazy single game performances.
Let's try it. Woo! 3
Dang.
50-point games in a month. Wow, in a calendar
I
month.
also just want to say, I was going to say this for the end, but there's no proof for the 12 plus blocks, but every single category besides that, and I think 12 plus blocks probably also done. Every single category has been done by Will Chamberlain. Every
There's no
single
proof for
category
Will
here.
Chamberlain.
And it's very likely that Will Chamberlain's had 12 blocks in the game. Let's keep it realistic.
Oh my
It wasn't
God.
tracked, obviously, but it's very likely that Will Chamberlain has done every single thing on this list.
Wow.
Every single
All right.
category.
Well, so Draymond, the thing with Draymond, right? Draymond is either going to be defensive stats of some sort or championship / winning of some sort.
No, I know
So-
it has nothing to do with like defensive player of the year or anything because there's other ones like Hakeem is not on the board anymore. Is there a chance that there's an MVP? No, never mind because Kobe's off the board too.
Something playoff
I would
stats
say
related,
championship
maybe?
related, but Kareem and Kobe also have a bunch of rings, so they're
Yeah. But I mean, none of these guys really have a bunch of rings.
all right. One thing I know about Draymond Green is he dropped 30 points in a game 7 of the finals. They lost.
Jimmy.
They lost, but he did do that.
Jimmy. So Draymond, Jimmy, Jokic.
Could be a Moses
probably.
Malone. No, Jokic hasn't been to a game 7.
Oh, are we sticking
Oh,
with
I
game
don't know.
seven?
That could just be a wild goose chase. But
I was just gonna say in a finals game.
Rondo, Garnett,
AG maybe. Anything is possible.
that's one away.
I mean, Karl Malone made a bunch of finals. He never won any of
He
them.
did. Let's try Karl
But-
Malone.
But he made a bunch.
Also
of them.
one away. All right, interesting. What if it's these
So-
four? That was not one away. Okay.
No, so it's those. It's Jimmy, Draymond, and Jokic, and someone.
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard made it.
I don't recall what he did in that finals against Kobe and them.
The Lakers won pretty handily, but I think Dwight kind of cooked.
I feel like it could be Rondo. Rondo had some.
He did. He was a playoff
games. He
performer.
was. Let's try Rondo. who have recorded a
Okay.
triple-double in the
Okay.
NBA Finals.
Yep.
Nice.
Wow.
Again,
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain did do that.
That's wild.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right, and then we got Moses Malone, Kevin Garnett, Karl Malone, and Dwight Howard. I'm gonna assume this is like has 20,000 rebounds or something, or 15,000 rebounds in
Pretty
their
sure
career.
no one in NBA history has 20,000.
All right, well, 15,000 maybe, or whatever the record is.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, that sounds like it could be right.
And I would
I
assume
don't
that Wilt
think-
Chamberlain also has done that.
Wilt Chamberlain's like the all-time leader in rebounds, something crazy like that. He's up there, if not number one.
Because why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Something.
It has to be rebounding related because
Yeah,
we have
it's
scoring, we have blocks, we have triple double. I just feel like it has
Yeah.
to be. And also,
yeah, and they're all big men. It's probably
oh
something
wait,
rebounds.
but how could it be that if like Kareem is on the board and Hakeem, like guys like that?
That's yeah. It's not going to be like how many teams they played with because I mean Karl Malone only played for like 2 teams.
Mm.
I just don't know what else it could be unless it's.
Oh god,
I mean, all these guys were really
Did
good.
Zach Sell?
defensive players.
I did mess this up a little bit, but I could put like an asterisk and say it's like between X and Y amount of something, and it would still
Okay.
work. So for this, there's going to be a lower and upper limit to this stat because then I can make it still work.
All right.
So it's going to be something rebound
Yes.
related.
I wonder if it's like
Straight up, yes.
between 10 and 12,000 rebounds or something.
Right, because like Kareem and Hakeem have more,
I'm just going to
but like
say
they have at least some benchmark.
Yeah.
They have something plus.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Probably.
all
10,000.
right. I'll tell you what I've modified the category to be, but still.
All right,
All
let's rip it.
I think we just run it. Yeah.
Okay. So I
wow.
realized that Kareem definitely beat that. So we're going to say that's between 14,500 and 16,500. Okay.
Wow.
Because-
So, dang.
Yeah, I know.
Dwight Howard, Malone, other Malone, and Garnett between 14.5 and 16,500 rebounds.
So
I have to say,
I know you guys. I know we were talking about the 20,000 rebound mark. 2 players have passed that number: Bill Russell with 21,620, and of course Wilt Chamberlain with 23,924.
My God.
Almost 24,000, almost 3,000 more than the next person.
You know, people always joke about how he played with firemen and
Dude,
plumbers, but
no,
like
he was
even
different.
if he was going against some random scrubs, it's still.
I'm just
unbelievable.
saying, with this grid and with how much better he is than every single person with these categories, and I'm telling you, it's very likely he got 12 plus blocks in the game. He is, without a shadow of doubt, in my mind, top 5 all time.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
His stats are unbelievable.
He would work in,
Also,
in any
speaking of
era.
unbelievable,
He would work in any era.
if anyone doesn't think that Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer, just seeing him up there with those guys, look at some of Dwight Howard's stats from his peak. They're pretty insane.
Dwight Howard, more rebounds all time than Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Dikembe Mutombo, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing,
that's
Dennis Rodman, Charles Oakley. All those guys are below
All right,
Dwight Howard, who is 10th all time.
I got one more for us. All right. So let's play NFL Connections running back. Oh, who's echoing?
Oh. That was you, I think.
That was Zach.
My bad.
All right. Let's play NFL Connections running back edition. So I will leave you guys to it, and I'll let you know if it's
All right.
Okay.
Interesting
Well,
names here.
immediately, I think there's some. Oh no, never mind. There's too many of them. I was gonna say I think there might be an Alabama one, but there's like way too many Alabama guys. Damian Harris, Eddie Lacy, Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and Najee Harris. So there's way too many of them. Let's see.
I feel like it could be maybe
Crazy that you sniffed that out immediately.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with draft position. Maybe they were all drafted certain picks or whatever.
I mean, yeah, Fournette was a really high draft pick. Saquon was a really high draft pick. Zeke was a really high draft pick.
Is there another first round back? LT, maybe LT.
LT I think was like pick 10.
Okay.
Let's try
Jesse,
that.
can we try first round running
Fournette.
backs?
Who were the four?
No, it's not. Well, Jacobs was a first round pick too.
Oh.
And so
Who were the
was
four?
Najee. But I think like maybe top 10
Yeah.
picks were Saquon, LT, Fournette, and Zeke.
Woo!
Five.
Drafted in the
Even
top
better.
5,
Yeah.
baby.
I always forget that Zeke
All
was
right.
drafted so high, but it was the same draft as the Wentz golf
Yeah.
draft. He was like 4, right? He
Yeah,
was the 4th pick.
I think he was 4.
Yeah.
Fournette was 4. Barkley was 2, and LT was 4 or 5.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Well done.
Okay.
We sniffed that one out immediately.
So could Najee have something to do with like? Well,
slow. Being
actually,
slow.
no. Well, what about like? I don't think this is a track statistic, but like Marshawn, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, and Najee. The best thing that I associate with all those guys is running dudes over. So
How many
like,
dudes have they ran over in their
Hey,
career?
no. Hey, Jesse, please. I want to see this not be anything, so we can laugh about Jack trying to hype. Yeah, Jack
One
trying to
away.
hype up
It was
one
one
away.
away.
It's not Najee
One
Harris. So
it was one away.
put Marshawn, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, and I'm gonna say Latavius Murray because that feels more realistic.
Latavius Murray feels more realistic than Najee Harris
In any
nothing-
category comparing
there.
Najee Harris, Marshawn Lynch, and Derrick Henry in the same category doesn't make sense.
I feel like something here is these guys are in the same draft class because there's a lot of guys here that were taken in like similar-ish years. Like I think
Kenneth.
like-
What year was Kenneth Walker drafted?
Walker's the youngest out of all of them.
But I also
He's younger
also-
than any of those guys.
I also feel like when it comes to
And so, and Kyron too.
when
I
it
think
comes
Kyron's
to, when it comes to recently drafted running backs, I think of Walker as being pretty recent, ETN as being pretty recent, Kyron Williams as being pretty recent, and Damian Harris as being fairly recent.
And Najee too.
Najee too, but I want to try Kenneth Harris, ETN, and Williams.
They were not the same year.
I was 1
100%.
away.
One away.
That's not the category though.
We're
Maybe there is. All right, let me do a quick college scan. Let's see here. So Marshawn went to Cal, Bama,
wait.
Clemson, Notre Dame, Bama. Ken Walker was Michigan State, Iowa State. I actually don't know Latavius Murray. Wow, that one's gonna stump me. But the other two I bet.
I don't know
All right.
Latavius Murray either.
Yeah.
Someday,
Okay, yeah,
maybe
nothing
we
college.
will meet Latavius Murray someday.
Nothing college. Although there's a ridiculous amount of Alabama guys.
There is.
But like,
Wait. Is it Bama plus like a rushing statistic, maybe?
yeah,
Who
maybe.
really succeeded at Bama, Jack?
I mean, in college,
In
Derrick
college.
Henry,
Derrick Henry.
Henry, Najee, Jacobs, and Damian Harris.
One away.
So then try maybe Eddie Lacy instead, with instead of Damian Harris, Henry, Najee, Jacobs, and Lacy. Henry, Najee, Jacobs, and Kenyon Drake. Oh my God! No.
That was not one away.
When they were all in the same backfield. Najee, Jacobs, Drake, and Damian Harris. No.
And those were not 1 away either.
Oh my God. What was the one that they were all in the same backfield? Who was in that backfield?
Don't ask me, man. I just made the question.
Like
Jack, you're
I-
thinking too deep. He's too
No,
deep.
there-
No, you're close. You're close.
there's like a really famous picture of like 4 NFL caliber.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a
All the
hint. I
same
think what you're
Alabama
thinking of. I think you're thinking of
You're thinking of the wide
someone
receiver.
else, but I will give you a hint that you were very close when you were saying how they performed in college.
Okay.
That was me who said that.
Yeah, you. I'm pointing at you.
So could it be like maybe not all of the Bama guys? Like, could it be like Derrick Henry? Like Etienne was insane in
We
college.
we were one away though. So let's.
No,
I'm
it
gonna
relates.
try-
It relates to their careers at Alabama. I'll give you that hint.
Okay. Wait, so how the hell did I forget one of the Bama guys? Like the Bama, it's Damian Harris, Eddie Lacy, Drake, Jacobs, Henry, and Najee. Those are the Bama guys.
Correct.
So, I mean, the best of them were Henry, for sure, Najee, and Jacobs, I would think, were the three best. And then I think it has to be one of those other three. But I think
Let's
we
try
tried
Eddie
all
Lacy.
of those.
Try Eddie Lacy. I don't think we tried Eddie Lacy with this combo.
One off.
Like, I think it has to be one of either Drake or Harris with those three, unless it's not like Jacobs.
I don't
Or is it
think-
not
So,
Najee?
so
Like,
Eddie Lacy and Damian Harris were one off, and Kenyon Drake was not one off.
Eddie Lacy.
So like these four and these four were one off. but
Wait,
these
wait,
four
wait.
were not.
Try Harris, Lacy, Henry, Najee.
Bang, baby.
Oh my god.
There.
Alabama leading
Oh.
rusher in a season. Josh Jacobs was
Yeah.
never a leading rusher for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, because he was there at the same time as someone else. I can't
Yeah.
remember who it was, but he was like split. I think it might have been Damian Harris.
It was Damian Harris, and
Yeah.
yeah, Damian Harris was a beast. Well done. Took you long enough. All right, we got 3 minutes to finish up here. So
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you a hint. One of these, I believe, is related to this year.
Okay, so ETN, Kyron, Kenneth Walker,
Josh
and,
Jacobs. No, David Montgomery.
David Montgomery.
Etienne, Williams, Walker, Montgomery.
Yeah.
Gotta be it.
Got to be like
No, not
touchdown.
Murray. We don't want Murray.
5+
Yeah,
rushing
um,
touchdowns through week 7 of 2023. Well done. Last category. What do these four got?
Oh god.
I feel like Kenyon Drake was a Raider. Was Latavius Murray a Raider?
Yeah, I think they actually were all Raiders.
It might just be they're all Raiders. It might just be they're all Raiders.
They're all Raiders, baby.
Yep.
Hey, all
All
right.
Raiders.
It's funny. The
Oops,
connections
all
always
Raiders.
well done. The connections always takes like 15 minutes to get the first one, and then once you have two, it's like
Yep.
it's over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Well done. Former and current Raiders felt like they were relevant for this week. All right, that'll do it. Whoa.
That's scary.
Thank you to everybody who hung out with us today on the show. We will be back next Monday. And yeah, good job on the connections. We got some more NBA stuff coming soon. We got a Madden tournament on the 19th. So we'll be ready for that. But thank you. This has been Pass the Rock. See you in week 9.
Diggy on the platform.